God, and they did cry, "Blessed be the name of the Lord, God Almighty to the Most High God," which is such a different prayer than just 20 verses before that. And I think there's a really good lesson in that. And it reminded me of earlier this year, I went to Mexico for spring break and it was a dream. It was like the best week ever. And there was a moment when I was in Mexico and we were on our way to dinner and we were going to be late, but the sun was setting so perfectly over the water and we were walking on the beach on the ocean to get to dinner. And we wore our swimsuits nonstop. And so we just had our swimsuits on and we just threw clothes over so we could hurry and go to dinner because we were running late. And on our way to dinner, we like looked at the ocean and I was like, I have never wanted to swim more in my entire life. I was like, we don't even have to eat dinner. I was like, I'll starve tonight. I don't even care. And we hurried and just ran in the ocean. We were swimming in the ocean. It was the most beautiful night of my entire life. And I remember saying a prayer that night and just thinking, this is what God wanted life to feel like. This is what he wanted me to experience here. And it was just pure peace and happiness and joy. And it was exactly 1 week later that I found out that my dad had cancer. And I remember that night I went to the temple all by myself in the parking lot and it was so late. And that night I prayed a very different prayer than the one a week before that in Mexico. And that night I remember saying, God, I don't think this is what you wanted me to experience on earth. This is not the same thing as Mexico and the beach and swimming in pink water because the sunset was so pretty. Like, this is not what life was supposed to be like. And I just remember so clearly the Spirit saying, yes, it is. This is exactly what life is supposed to be like. And I think that that was not an accident in my life that was just 1 week later. Because the truth is that those were two very different prayers. And both have dramatically shaped my relationship with God. And I cannot help but think probably the same thing for these people on two separate pages and two very, very different prayers. But how beautiful that we have a God that is willing to listen to us on the very best of our days and the very worst of our days. And that he looks down and he says, you're going to experience a lot in life, the very highest of highs and the very lowest of lows. And that he has chosen to never abandon us for either. And it doesn't matter what our prayer sounds like, if it's a prayer of rejoicing or if it's a prayer of desperation, he is the type of dad that will show up for both. And I love that lesson in 35:4.